I am okay. I survived. Somebody came and bought worms and they didn't kill me. It was amazing. You never know in this day and age. Yeah, I figured I didn't finish. I still have some to finish. So why not? That one's done. These are all done, I think. Ooh, not done. That has a lot of pot worms. So that they both have pot worms. So I've done a few things since Brownie lay down. I sifted it all down. Alright. Got some pot worms. I don't know if I treated this one. Some of them I didn't. Let's see what happens. Oh man. So the person ended up coming through for the worms. Bought a pound of worms. And so that was good. That was a nice sale actually. $100. Even if I did $100 a day, you know, somebody comes through, I don't have to drive anywhere. I'm just and you do $100 a day on worms, that's still a really good month as far as I'm concerned. Like I would be happy with that. That would equal success to me. So my threshold is low. Yeah, $100 in the pocket would be is amazing. Very nice people too. Really meeting very nice people in this business. I've done other businesses before, and the people weren't as nice. Done. This is a nursery bin. Not going to do it to the nursery bin. Now this here is another nursery bin. It still has some pot worms too. Really, I'm just trying to get rid of it. I went through and sifted everything. The guy that came by to get the worms, he came with his wife, very nice lady also, and they got a couple plants also, but it was just cool. They came in there. They have an RV that they don't live in full time, I don't think, but it was just a nice travel vehicle. Just nice people. Loved what I'm doing. They can see what I'm doing, and they were able to support it. And it's not like a one-way street. Like if they had something that I could trade for, I would. I love trading. love to trade. Hot worms in this one too still. Lots of worms. Lots of worms. It's really good. Yeah, that's what I kind of explained to him. I'm like, I'm not doing you a service, sir, if I sell you 5 gallons of castings that you don't need. Right? Like, if you don't take care of the castings, then they degrade. So, and I explained it the other day. It's like, I'd rather sell you 1 gallon because that's what you need, and then some worms so you can get your own going. And then next thing you know, you're creating your own castings. You don't need me anymore. I don't want people to be dependent on me, really. I'd rather just show you a method, and then you reimburse me for that, and there you go. You're off to the races. If you need more worms, let me know. If you need any advice, let me know. Yeah, I think they will come back. They already have feed in it. I'm not putting any more feed. Not necessary. Simple as that. What's up, number 2? How you doing? Are you interested in worms, Mighty? Good eye, what? You from down under? Pot worms a little bit. I don't know. I think it's the chicken feed still a little bit. Did you do a mix of sizes so they can grow up and learn? Yeah, there were some adults. That my bulk bin has a bunch of adolescents though that are just about adults. But yeah, there was definitely some older ones in there too. I show them the babies. I try to explain to it. I'm like, this isn't just a one-time sale. Like, you can contact me anytime you want for as much information as possible. And then I told them at the YouTube, like, check me out. And holy moly. This does not have pot worms. It's not. I had to move the chickens too, so I hosed out their coop, and I moved them to another tree because the guineas live with them, and the guineas don't go in the coop at night. They end up going in the trees, so they need a tree in their enclosure so that the guineas can go up. We got a lot of worms, holy moly, but a lot of pot worms too. Doesn't really smell like ammonia anymore. Yeah, they do that. When you feed them to the top, they go to the top. Look at that one. Holy smokes. They really love that feed. They do. They do. Here, I use wet newspaper on the top. This only lifted up. Yeah, I think it's a good way to feed them too. A lot of bins today. A lot of worms. A lot of worms. End up harvesting some of these. Just from the bulk bin. Lots of worms that just added to it. My wife is texting me. This unit's just. How do you know the difference between castings and compost? I don't try to decipher it. I think that in the end, if it's how you label it for the customer, right? I don't care. I know whether it's 50%. 60%, 70% castings to compost. My compost is really good too. So the mix between the two, as long as you're not selling it as pure castings, I'm very honest about me not knowing the percentage. You can see the difference a lot of times, but it's hard to put a number on it. Castings are like a little ball bearing. It's like a very small, fine ball, especially the African red wigglers. It's a hard one to decipher. If you go with a bigger worm, like a nightcrawler or something, it's a noticeably bigger what's it called? Casting. So red wigglers, the one downside is that the casting doesn't look as pronounced. It's not as big. Smaller worm, smaller casting. probably put a couple hundred more worms in there, maybe even more than that. Sometimes you got to do that. I don't really want to pull from my bulk bin right now. Sometimes you got to grab a handful. I'm not grabbing like a really dense one from there. Pretty wet bin. Finish up the chow. Some nice, little bit of fresh bedding there. I'm just gonna wet it lightly. What I'm finding is that you can keep feeding them, and the bedding, the amount of bedding you put, it needs to be an experiment. So if I'm putting 3 cups of this and running a certain amount of worms, I'm expecting that it takes a month for it to get through the 3 scoops of this bedding. And then the food chow is just like the icing on the cake. You really need to get your bedding perfect in this situation and try to figure out the equation. So like if you're doing 1,000 worms in the bin, and do 2 scoops the first month and to make sure that they can do it, and then maybe add to it, right? So you're just trying to figure out an equation, and then you need to decipher when some of these bins that I'm showing you right now, I can see, because from my angle, how casted they are, and I can see the difference. I really can in this type of scenario. Make sense? I set a date that I've put in, that I've experimented with, that I find to work, and then that's kind of passed. So again, I've switched it up. They were all meant to be harvested, and that's why I have no problem adding some of this back to it, because I'm past a month on a lot of them, and they're really. What I'm seeing is that they can turn more of it to castings. So maybe it's a month and a half for the amount that I'm giving them. So the next time I might just do 2 scoops of bedding. That make sense? Man, my nose is stuffy. What the heck? Where's my rag? What the heck? What's up, big mama? No, you stay. Where is it? Whatever. Looking everywhere for a rag. And then they go crazy. You really just got to figure out the equation. And once you do, so like you could start off with 500 worms in 1 scoop, right? 1 scoop of bedding, and see how fast it takes for them to eat it at 500 worms. Now a breeder bin. So this is cool. So ideal breeder bin, right, would be. You don't put a time limit on it, right? Because you're going to put a certain amount of worms, which I think ideal is 250, and that's to basically trigger the worms to be like, oh, our population is low, let's start breeding more rapidly, which is one way to look at it. So and then red wigglers tend to live in the top 3 inches. So in these bins, if you set it up so you have 3 inches of work for them to deal with in the ideal amount of space, it should be grounds for them not only being able to consume properly, because that's where they want to be, but also will hopefully make them produce more cocoons because they think they need to, right? I might not be accelerating my growth. I think there's something also to having more worms than you should, and then them intertwining more often because it's like they want to breed, but if you take and this is what Matt says, if you take the movement out of the way and they're just bumping into each other, they're gonna breed, right? You didn't. I'd got off for a little while, Rex. You make it to your destination? That makes sense? Like, I can see this vid, and I can see the castings on the top. Like, clear as day. It's like like in these situations, maybe it doesn't show at all. They move the things around. They put the bigger sticks on the side. They put the castings at the top until they're done working through everything. So it's almost like they're just moving stuff around. Right? Rebby's in the background. You see that face in the background? They are red wigglers, Rex. African red wigglers. They do. They move it around. Cool. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I must admit, they're pretty cool. Rex, it doesn't have to be worms that you find to be pretty cool. Rex, you need to find something in life, along with everything else that you're going to do, that's good for this planet. And within all of your extracurricular activities, along with doing well in school, pick something that doesn't make sense to everybody else, but you know to be good and true, and lean into that at least a little bit. Still do everything else everybody wants you to do or what you want to do, but do things that are good for this planet. Even if it doesn't make sense to everybody. It's a good thing, I'm telling you. Alright, go post on your channel. I'm excited. We'll go check your channel out. When we're done here, we'll go look at your channel, alright? Post something good. Post something productive. Yeah, it could be a personal talent, but maybe just it doesn't have to even be talent. Like, picking the trash up in your neighborhood. No one does that, but if you're the guy that does that and you make it into a habit, like, it's just a good thing. Yeah, you know? It doesn't have to be picking trash up in your neighborhood, but that's just something simple you could do that people would recognize to be a good thing that most people don't do. But yeah, if you have a talent and you're good at something, that's good too. Anything that's good in life takes a lot of hard work. If it wasn't hard to do, then anybody and everybody would do it, you know? This isn't hard to do, but you have to do it, you know? It's not hard to deal with worms, but if you don't deal with them properly, they will leave. They will die. So like anything, you should become proficient at it. At anything you do. I think if I went and looked back at some of these earlier bins that I did today, they would be going crazy on it, which I might do. Happy worms, happy worms. How'd the Christmas thing go yesterday? Oh, wow. Really good. Raised nearly 2,004 out. Wow. Hustling. If only we could make worms a hot commodity during Christmas. I doubt that my sales will be crazy at Christmas ever. Maybe one day. Doubt it, but maybe. I have yet to drop one of these bins that high up, but it's coming. It's coming for sure. Still got potworms. What the heck? Go away, potworms. Go away, potworms. Nice. What's one of the presents you? Well, no, you don't want to say it, just in case. More eggshells? Yeah, probably. egg shield. A couple of these bins are not going to get any of this bedding, which is fine. Yeah, just one more scoopful. That means everything's back in there. Now the reason why I want to get to that stuff really fast is because it gets weird. It starts to heat up and stuff really quickly. You need to get to it. But we might be able to only do 2 more bins. Oh yeah. And then I'm gonna go in and watch. I'm gonna watch a cartoon movie, like a man-child. What movie should I watch? I want to watch a good movie. You have any recommendations? I got mine in a couple of homemade drafts. On the doors. Okay, that's a good idea for a new bungalow. Nice. Very nice of you. And your nan is your grandmother? Or it would be my grandmother, your nan? I like Elf. Yeah, Elf is pretty funny, but it's not like cartoon. I watched Elemental the other day with my wife. Have you seen that one? It's my mom's. Gotcha. Oh wow. Not too bad on the That's all of it. All done. And the other ones are fed, so I don't even need to do anything with them. It's called Elemental. It's interesting. Little movie on Hulu maybe or Disney Plus, something. Watch this one and then I'm done. It's a half an hour. Keeping me honest. What's up, 3 people? How we doing? So I haven't looked at the bins that I did this morning. Let's take a look at the first bin I did. That I put the bedding on there. Let's see what's happening. They're right underneath it. Yeah, they're eating it from below. Not very wet. You can just tell it's castings. Bearded Flannel Man, I just watched all of your latest videos. Seems you have taken a break from posting new content. Glad to see you live. What you mean posting like actual videos? Because I've done a bunch of lives. I find lives to be more pure, unedited. But I'm gonna do some more videos too. I'm not very good with all. I'm more off the cuff. If you get what I mean. But yeah, this is one of my bins. If you saw my earlier live, it's so fluffy, Cheryl. It's crazy. There's a difference in it. This whole bin is fluffy. I'm just mixing this up. Not very proud of this bin. Thanks for watching everything. Appreciate it. Actual videos since I've subscribed now, I'll get to see the live. Yeah, I'm gonna do some more. I gotta figure this out because I think that I enjoy doing it, and I'm doing some cool stuff that hopefully other people want to watch. Yeah, I think that I would just say to anybody that's gonna just do live instead of just recording, is that there's no takebacks. You don't have to have it posted, but when it's live, people are gonna see it. So if you're not, if you're more scripted, there's no reason to not have a script and just do a video, you know, and then just upload it. You don't have to edit it. It can just be a raw video. Take a look at another one. If you watched my last live this morning, Flannel, you would have seen that I was rerunning through castings or the bedding back through my worms. This one's a lot wetter. Yeah, look at that. Again, very fluffy. It's wet. This is way wetter than the other one. I do. You're gonna do it soon. We need it. It's a really good way to keep you motivated. You know, it makes you have to do something for the worms. That's why I like doing it, is because it's like it's somebody to talk to while I'm doing my worms. Yeah, I agree. Like this is not. There's nothing wet coming out when you squeeze it. And there's nothing wrong with mixing the worms up. I try not to as much, but now it's all just mixed in. Veggie. Back again. Shady's back. Hello, friend. Shady's back. Shady's burp. Let's see what this bin looks like. Random bin. Bin check. Holy moly. Holy moly. Oh, actually. There's Remy right there. Remy, what do you want? A handful of worms? This is a wet bin, too. Holy moly. Look at that glop of worms. Oxygenate them babies. There might be too much oxygen in here. Website with free open source music. That's cool. If you want to just slide that into my DMs. It's my favorite channel for worm stuff, but the Garden and Worm Lady is close second. Yeah, I've watched both of them before. Taken some advice from both of them. Everybody has their own style. You know? There's many ways to skin this cat. so many eggs. Really is ideal temperature in here, like 78 degrees. Her shirts are great. They seem like very nice people. They seem like very, very nice people. I probably watch Matt the most whenever he does something. Put my plant starter heating mat under my worm bins after your suggestion. That might be too cold for them. They'll live there. They just not. It's like they'll survive. They just won't thrive, I guess. Maybe they will. That's an experiment. Test them at different temperatures. Do one bin with the heat mat, and then the next without it. It's an easy, just a good observation for people for up north. You know, doing a lot of people a favor. Captain Matt, yeah, he's pretty good for a starter as well. Very open dude. Yeah, I don't know. I would say Captain Matt's more advanced than both of those, the other two people that you listed, to be honest. I mean, they're all knowledgeable about it, but Captain Matt's understanding is a little different, I think. Different idea, though. Out of all the people online right now, he makes the most sense, like through and through, in his theory. To me, you know, everybody has their way of doing it, and again, there's like many ways to skin the cat. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but other people's are better than others, right? You can still be better than other people. You don't need to be mean about it. Just pick this goes over here actually. I'm just looking at some bins. This is 929. What's up, MZs? How you doing? I think yeah. I think he would be the one that, if I was to tell anybody to go get started, I would say go look at some of his videos. Doesn't have many potworms. The only reason why everybody should be doing this is to save the planet. Save the planet. Secondary, make money. Speaking of money, that the person that texted me during the last live drift ended up coming through buying $100 worth of stuff from me. Nice sale. If I could just have that happen every day, it would be amazing. Life would be perfect, right? What's 30 times 100? Just good conversation. It's like, it's not like when I've worked in other situations. It's kind of like when you leave, you're working for somebody else. This is like a thorough conversation that I'm hitting multiple points so that we know where both of us stand without having to have any problems figuring it out, right? I know how to say things that aren't offensive. Soon I want to start small, limiting our house waste. Yeah. I would just say give them the least amount of food at first and then check them the next day. And then figure out exactly how much food they can deal with instead of putting things in there and causing flies. Now, when they get to a certain amount of worms, you won't have to worry about it. But when you're hatching cocoons, I would be more worried about temperature and the bedding that you're going to run them in so that they have a good place to land, right? Cocoons could be 20 days out from hatching, so watch having a bunch of food in there to then start to rot they can't get to it because there's too much, you start causing a problem already before you even need to. Tracking? People overfeed and then they cause a fruit fly issue and then a maggot issue. And really, it's like feed them very, very little at first. Like a grape. If they eat it in an hour, because you can check on it that easily, then okay, add 5 grapes. And then that might push you to the evening. Okay, so, and then just come up from there. And also getting it finer and finer and finer. Like with the cocoons, is just put very little in the center at the top, like a nice bedding, compost, whatever you're going to use, and then a little bit to attract them to the top. Gotta go, mate. See ya, Cheryl. You probably already know that, Bearded. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'll just flip this bin. We'll see what this bin looks like. Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You do whatever you wish. Compile. The word sterile and worms, the finished casting may be considered sterile, but honestly, sterile to me is like the opposite of what you're trying to achieve in theory. Like, you want it to be very with life and just an ecosystem of just insanity. So yeah, running peat moss, it's been cleaned. But that's like feeding your worms Brussels sprouts every night. Think about it. Yeah, like if you can put them in a room at 79 degrees and keep that consistent, that's good. Yeah, like I think it's awesome if you can work fruit and all these different things into your. It's amazing, but sterile and worms don't need to be. They don't have to be like compost that brings in other mites and different things is the best way to do it. Like you're gonna have little mites. You're gonna have this, that, and another. I just looked at a palmetto bug in here just living. Like, don't be afraid of all the extra stuff that comes with it, which I'm not saying you are. It really helps the whole breakdown process. It really does. It's consistent worms all the way through. Very fluffy. A little aeration never hurt. So basically what I did today, really I thought they might compete for foods and whatnot. Yeah, they're going to eat a little bit, but you're not going to notice it. Now, you can have real bad outbreaks of certain things, but honestly, instead of having to pay for sterile, the idea is to get rid of your home food waste, and then you're buying sterile stuff, like have a compost pile, feed them some of the stuff that they really enjoy that you can get small enough or to a liquid, and then the rest go in a compost pile, then you make into a bedding for them. I think compost is the best bedding. There's no better. There's no better. It completes the ecosystem. There's all sorts of different living creatures in there, and it doesn't affect anything. If you're afraid of mites, it's the same thing as a worm. Now, again, they can get out of hand, and there's certain things to balance all these different things out. Yeah, sift it well, right? Make sure it's good. Yeah, for the acidity. But it helps change the pH. Yeah, exactly. Or eggshells, right? Pretty sure eggshells do the same thing. Yeah, there's a lot of natural ways to figure out little issues. For the most part, unless they are red wiggler predators, they have symbiotic relationship. A lot of vermicompost side here. That's interesting. Yeah, I can see that happening. And there's a little competition. Never hurt anyone, right? There's nothing wrong with a little friendly competition. Get to work, worms. Let's eat. That's what we're here for. 24 hours. No, they take a break, hopefully. They're not slaves. I'm not feeding them because they already had food. I just mixed it in. Let's see what we got here. Another bin. These guys. I actually sifted a boatload of compost my winter worm needs a week or two ago. Yeah, and you can do that. Just watch it doesn't reheat in the bin. And don't mix all the extra additives if you ever add them to the whole bin, because that will definitely, like kelp meal, all those different things will heat the bin up quickly. But yeah, cocoons is a cool way to do it. If you just buy castings from me, you're gonna get a lot of cocoons. You need to start looking for them, Drift. They're very easy to decipher. One's a dark orange, which is an older cocoon, and one's a light yellowish orange. That's a more recent cocoon. I might have said that there's more than, I think there's 4 babies to a cocoon. Yeah, essentially. They don't taste like Pop Rocks, I don't think, but yeah, Pop Rocks. Collect a bunch of them and try to do that to somebody, be messed up. Take a look at one of these bins real quick and then I'm getting off. Dinner time. Just fluffy. I'm pretty sure this bin's pretty close to done. I'm gonna reset them all. Happy worms. Not as wet as I want it to be. But I think that's all she wrote today. Need a little bit of water. I'm not going to mark it because I'm still going to go through them again. Let me wash my hand. I'll show you a knife that I finished this week. Just need to put an edge on it. One second. This one done. Oh, 1 second. Before I drop my phone. handle mostly. I didn't make the blade. But that was that block of wood. Fits nice in the hand. Just gotta put an edge on it. I sanded the blade and everything. But I didn't actually make that. But I got it all lined up. Nice butt. That came out nice. Big knife. A little bit longer handle than I would probably recommend. I would do again, but it is what it is. So came out nice. Happy with it. I sent another knife out too, and then got a few others in the works. But I appreciate everybody hanging out. 1 second. I'm not gonna say that it's a small person, but it's a little longer than it should be. Sorry, my nose is stuffed. I'm all congested. I feel like I have boogers falling out of my nose. I'll probably do. What kind of garden knife were you thinking? We could definitely work something out. Yeah, I could definitely do something harvesting. It's kind of the design, like a. Where is it? Man, my nose. They're up at the house right now. I don't have one with me. Yeah, we can definitely figure something out. Maybe if you have some ideas, you can shoot me a message on HuntersWorms.com. And if you have an idea of a design that you think will work really well, maybe we can figure something out. I'd be happy to take a look at it. But yeah, there's a few different types. One that I do, it's like a scythe kind of deal. And that works really well. It has like a little hook to it. Not quite a cram bit, but has a hook to it. But I'm going to go be sick for a little while. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Have a good rest of Sunday. Take it easy. Bye. Peace.